feedingourfriends05@gmail.com. It's the 15th anniversary of Feeding Our Friends on the Outside will be hosting its 15th annual Feeding the Homeless event in Greater Los Angeles on Sunday, November 10th from noon until at 11129 South Central Avenue in Los Angeles. If you would like to donate or volunteer, please call 310-981-6377 or email them at feedingourfriends05@gmail.com. feedingourfriends05@gmail.com. It's the 15th anniversary of Feeding Our Friends on the Outside, Sunday, November 10th from noon until 11129 South Central Avenue in Los Angeles. For more information, call 310-981-6377. 310-981-6377. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
And you better talk to me nicely. Next to blow, little bitch, I might be. Oh. Can't forget all the days they overpriced me. So now that we up, don't good advice, we know. Talk to me nicely. I noticed they hit it, we getting icy. Whoa, can't forget all the moments they overpriced me. So now that we up, don't good advice, we know. We on top, flipping the bird, they going sick. But I'ma make them eat every word, so don't trip, yeah. Even with all the bridges they burn, I won't switch. Even with all this water we dripping, we won't slip, yeah. Blast Bear Bond in the building, he don't miss. But we call it success when your circle is all rich. If you a big stepper, don't trip over small.
KBLA Talk 1580, but
yeah, I won't.
Talk to me nicely. Even on a Talking Point Tuesday. Look, the purpose of this is to dispel some of the things we say and repeat and tell ourselves and believe without knowing where they came from or why we are saying them. We do Talking Point Tuesday every Tuesday, but intermittently, typically a couple times a month, we invite one of our Republican colleagues onto the mic to have a lively and spirited conversation. In this case, Mr. DeLuz has just about 30 minutes to give us, and then after that, you are welcome to respond. He is a member of Project 21. He's the founder of the Uncommon Sense Media Group. He's got 30 years in media, political advocacy, policy analysis, and grassroots activism. And he's a president and CEO for the 2A News Corporation and spokesman for the California Republican Assembly, the Golden State's biggest and fastest growing Republican volunteer organization. Craig DeLuz, welcome back.
Always a pleasure.
I imagine you're feeling pretty happy right about now.
Well, I'm somewhat satisfied. I am happy, but I realize we got a lot of work to do.
Why the somewhat satisfied? I think you would be, dancing the aisles.
Well, I still live in the state of California, which is, we'll just say, as I like to say, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. Politics here in California are very different, although we learned in this election that they're not as different as we would think.
But you could move. I mean, why not do like Elon and go to Texas or go to Florida? Why not? If you don't like it, why not leave it?
Well, the only thing I don't like about California are the politics. I love the weather. Most of my family is here. Most of my friends are here. So I love a lot of things about California. It's just literally just the politics are the only thing that I have a challenge with.
Interesting. Okay, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? So you say you have a lot of work to do, and how would you define that?
Well, ultimately, elections are not just about who wins and who loses, but it's also about how they govern. Donald Trump he's now got a mandate, I believe, winning 312 electoral votes. Winning all 7 of the swing states, having majorities in both houses of Congress, puts him in a position to do what it is that he says he wants to do in order to make America great again. Well, now it's incumbent upon him to lead and make it happen, and for the rest of us to do our part.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. So he's now created a position. It was a fictional position. Now it's a real, apparently, position. The border czar. It was never a thing before they dubbed Kamala Harris that, but now he's actually appointed a border czar, or indicated that he will appoint a border czar, because, of course, you have to have these positions, I guess, confirmed. I mean, I don't know, because I don't know what a border czar is. But anyway, Tom Homan, former cop, now the border czar, whatever that is. Do you think that he will actually deport 12 million? Most estimates are 11 or 12 million. I know Republicans have said hundreds of millions or 20 million or whatever comes out of Trump's mouth on any given day. But do you think that's actually going to happen?
Yeah, I'll say yes and no. And I think initially what you're going to start to see is there's going to be a major effort to go after those people who were convicted of crimes or from prison or something like that before they came into the United States. The first step is going to be to find and deport them. The next step is going to be going after those who've committed crimes since being here in the United States. And I think during that entire
most
time,
of those are in jail, so that shouldn't be too hard.
Well, unless they're in a state that has no bail. But I think you're going to start to see them being deported. And I think somewhere in the midst of that, you're going to start to see conversations about how we address the rest. Do we create a pathway to legal residency? I do not.
Kind of like what Reagan did.
Well, what Reagan did was flat out amnesty. And that's something that I don't think is going to fly with the American people. A pathway to legal residency, I think, is a possibility. And I think even then, it's not something that's going to be available to everybody.
What gives you the idea that that's going to be a possibility? I mean, for me, it's obvious they're going to have to do that, because a lot of these billionaires rely on that cheap labor, and in reality, our food system relies on that cheap labor to keep the prices low. But I haven't seen any indication. In fact, Mr. Homan said at the RNC, you better start packing now. That was his message to undocumented folks.
Well, I think one of the successes of the first Trump presidency when it came to this issue was you saw a lot of people self-deport. And I think a lot of the rhetoric you're hearing is encouraging people, number one,
self-deport,
to stop coming to the U.S. border. But then the other thing is people who are here, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to say, you know what, it's going to be a lot harder on me here. Maybe I need to just go back to the country where I came from.
Yeah, I doubt that.
You're going to actually see a lot of that. And, a lot of
kind of like Mexico building the wall. Is it kind of like that? Like Mexico paying for a wall that's still not there, even though Biden helpfully pitched in and built some of it. I'm hoping that many of the dumber ideas of the Trump administration will have the same fate as the wall.
Well, as I was saying, one of the successes that Donald Trump has had is that in many cases, it's not as much the implementation of his policy as the concerns that people have for his rhetoric. And a great example was, for example, the tariffs. I'm not a fan of tariffs. I believe that tariffs are taxes, and I'm not in favor of the idea of increasing taxes. Having said that, the threat of tariffs.
Craig, we're having a little problem with your phone. Let's fix it, and we'll continue on the other side. Let's get that special antenna or whatever we need to do. We're talking with Republican Craig DeLuz on KBLA, Talking Point Tuesday, KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
Talking with Craig DeLuz. He's the president and CEO of 2A News and spokesperson for the California Republican Assembly. Hope I'm saying that right. California Republican Assembly. Yeah, it's the largest and fastest, apparently, growing Republican volunteer organization in the Golden State. I don't know exactly what that means, considering Dems have a super duper majority in the state of California. But you were talking about the sort of gaps or opportunities, let me put it this way, between Trump's rhetoric and his actual implementation. And you were on the topic of tariffs, which, a lot of people are concerned about. I'm like, if you got to buy something, buy it now, because if, in fact, Trump goes ahead with the tariffs, everything is going to cost you, the American consumer, more. Not the Chinese, but you, the American consumer.
Well, only if the product is manufactured, for example, in China. But what I was saying before, though, was that in many cases he was able to convince manufacturers who were considering manufacturing their products in Mexico to actually manufacture their products in the United States. It's a threat it's the threat of tariffs that work more than the tariffs themselves. And I think that a lot of people take what Trump says. I look at what Trump does, and I realize that a lot of times it's his rhetoric that allows him to be able to negotiate a more moderated middle ground on a lot of issues.
How is Dobbs a moderated middle ground? Women are literally already dying.
Well, okay, so we can talk about the women are dying thing in a minute, but what he said was that what the Supreme Court said was that originally Roe was wrongly decided. There is not a constitutional right. There's nothing in the Constitution that affords someone the right to end their child's life in the womb.
After all of them said it was settled law, just for the record.
Well, no one said it was settled. Well, I won't say no one said it was settled.
All of the Trump appointees said that.
The point being is that this was a situation. This was a matter that is taken up by the states. And you can still have abortions at almost any time in 47 out of the 47 out of the
Okay, we don't do just making stuff up and lies around here. But anyway, we're not going to relitigate this. Okay. He's overturned Roe, and he's
Did I bring up Dobbs?
I brought it up as an example because you said hold on, let me finish. Let me finish my sentence. Okay, wait. Stop yelling. Miles, you're going to have to turn down his mic so I can ask my question on my show. I didn't bring up Dobbs to relitigate it. I brought up Dobbs because you said that Trump often says these extreme things, but actually settles on a more moderate middle ground, and I think that's an example of him not doing that at all.
forgive me for interrupting me. The point was that Dobbs is now a decision, and it's being decided in state after state, and in states where they believe that they want to protect and allow a woman to have an abortion up to and including the day of that child's birth. In those states, they can do that. In states,
nobody does that. That's never been a thing. That's never, ever been legal. That's ridiculous. Okay, we're moving on because now we're getting into the talking points. Now we're getting into the fictional talking points. Nobody, yeah. Okay, so why are you repeating it then?
Now who's gaslighting? I'm sorry.
No, there is no state in the union that allows women to have abortions up to the point of birth. That is just BS. So let's move on.
It happened at least 9 or 10 times in 2023.
No,
and that's why they stopped actually.
No.
All you have to do is
okay, we got your talking point. We got your talking point. Moving on. What you don't get to do is you can say your fictitious talking point once, maybe twice, 3 times. No, thank you. Do you think
media have such low approval ratings? Because people know that you are gaslighting them. You lied about Joe Biden and whether or not he was.
I personally lied about Joe Biden.
You lied about so many different things.
You heard me lie about Joe Biden. You listened to my show and you heard that.
I'm talking about the mainstream media.
Okay. Well, you're talking to me, so let's talk to me.
Now, for a second,
let's talk about. Go ahead.
Joe Biden was cool. There's nothing wrong with Joe Biden. You didn't say that.
No, I didn't. No, I did not say that. But anyway, why does it matter? I see you guys love to do these little straw man sidebars that have nothing to do with the future of the nation. You won, so allegedly. Do you think that it is fair for persons like myself and Rachel Maddow and others to say we want to see receipts? We want to see receipts because Elon Musk, the quote is, anything can be hacked, because Joe Rogan says Elon had an app where he was able to figure out that Trump won hours before all the votes had come in, because there are some rather unusual, irregular patterns in the returns that we want to see receipts. We want to see statistical modeling and some recounting in selected precincts.
I have no idea what you are referring to.
Cheating. I'm talking about cheating, so you don't really listen to much or read much news, because there are a huge number of Americans in this country that feel that you asked what I was talking about. There are a lot of Americans that feel that Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, the tech bros helped Trump cheat this election.
Oh,
you haven't heard that? This is news to you?
So now you're the election denier?
No, we won't be marching on the Capitol and trying to pull off a coup. We won't be threatening, little Marco. We won't be doing that. But we can ask for receipts. I think that's legit, don't you?
That's what the whole process of verification is about.
So you're good with that. Okay, great. Good to know. I have found a Republican who's not a hypocrite.
I just find it interesting that 4 years ago you didn't care at all. 4 years ago, you didn't care at all about receipts.
No, it's not that I didn't care. It's just that 60.
Since your side didn't win.
No.
You don't care about receipts.
Trump had his day in court. He lost 60 times, including repeatedly with judges he appointed. So I think you guys had your little day in court. So it's not. Let's good for the goose, good for the gander. What are you most excited about, Craig DeLuz, and what you think Trump can accomplish in what you're calling his middle ground?
I think the first thing that you're going to start to see is you're going to see that he's going to cut off the flow of oil money to Iran, which is going to dramatically decrease the number of conflicts and the level of conflicts within the Middle East, because Iran's not going to have the money to be able to fund those. So I think you're going to start to see that happen right away. I think you're going to start to see.
So you think that well, let me just respond to your points. You can do a quick response to that. So you think that the United States has the power to defund Iran?
Well, the Biden administration literally removed sanctions, which allowed access to hundreds of millions of dollars in oil revenue.
Right. After
of
Trump overturned a deal we had to stop their nuclear program. Got it. Okay. What about?
No, that's not what that was.
Okay. That's exactly what it was. You were doing a list, though. Okay. Got it. So we're going to defund Iran. What else?
I think we are going to sit down with Ukraine and say, look, we're going to see an end to the war, and that Ukraine. See, the problem with the Biden administration was we talked about.
I asked you what. Okay. You just want to talk about Biden because you don't want to. You don't want to make it plain. Trump defunds.
An end to Ukraine war.
Okay. By defunding Ukraine.
No, by sitting down with them and saying, "Look, you're going to have to be willing to sit down and negotiate. There's some things that you want that the Ukrainians want. They're not going to get."
Okay. Are you concerned about authoritarianism? Is that not a concern for you?
I didn't say that, did I?
No, but I asked you. You seem to be super jolly about everything. So apparently, it's not a concern.
Well, now I think that you are speculating.
Yep. I asked you a question. I asked a question.
And I said, and I said no, didn't I?
I didn't hear an answer. So you're not concerned about authoritarianism?
I just told you no.
I didn't hear you.
Am I concerned about authoritarianism?
Yeah,
yes, I do believe that authoritarianism is a concern. Do I support authoritarianism? No, I do not support authoritarianism.
So then how could you support a Trump administration?
See, now you're making an assumption that Trump would be an authoritarian.
He told you he would.
Despite the fact that Joe Biden wrote more executive orders, was brought to heel by the courts for overstepping the separation of powers more than any president.
Why do you suppose that Trump wants to skip senatorial approval of his cabinet members and do recess appointments? Recess appointments are typically used after you've already tried to get someone confirmed, and for whatever dumb partisan reason you haven't been able to get them through. He controls the Senate. Well, why is he trying to do recess appointments when he could easily get his cabinet confirmed? What does he have to hide?
Well, number one, I have to assume that you are being accurate, and based on the fact that you've already told a number of falsehoods, I don't even know that is in fact the case.
Okay, well.
I don't even know that is in fact the case.
Okay, we'll talk about it next time you come on after you get a chance to read the paper, because that is definitely a thing. When you see the reports that Stephen Miller will likely be Deputy Chief of Staff, does that not concern you, given Miller's proclivity to be in alignment and promotion of white supremacists and white supremacist philosophy?
I'll just say this. I think that you and the rest of the mainstream media have spent all of your time pushing this.
We're not the mainstream media. We're black-owned. Black-owned, operated. We're not mainstream media.
You are mainstream. You are just like the mainstream media.
Do you identify as black?
You promote, yes, I identify as black.
That's what I thought. So my question is, are you not concerned about a deputy chief of staff, someone in his ear every single minute who is a proponent, an advocate of white supremacists? And white supremacists, this is coming from the Southern Poverty Law Center, and they track white supremacists.
Well, I'm sorry. The Southern Poverty Law Center is a neo-Marxist left-wing group that attacks conservatives. If there was anything that defines that fits the definition of disinformation, it's the Southern Poverty Law Center. So forgive me if I don't.
All they do is try to eliminate white extremism, and you think that's Marxism. Got it. Are you fine with Social Security being eliminated, either through Trump's terrible economic plans, which economists have said will bankrupt Social Security in 6 months, or by him simply cutting it as is outlined in Project 2025?
Okay, number one, Project 2025 is not his. He's already, by the way.
But yet he's already appointed at least three. But yet he's already appointed at least three people that worked on Project 2025 and are part of the Heritage Foundation. Already, they're part of his suggested administration. So that begs the lie.
Do you have any idea how many people work at the Heritage Foundation and how many people actually worked in the first Trump administration? You do realize that.
Okay, but the question was, are you fine with that?
At some point, you're going to let me answer a question.
Oh, you've answered many questions. I know you're used to having your mic to yourself on your own 2A broadcast, but we go back and forth around here. And you've had plenty of opportunities. Are you okay with the elimination or slashing of Social Security, considering so many Black older Americans depend on it to stay out of houselessness?
One, Donald Trump has already committed that he is not going to cut or reduce benefits to those currently on Social Security.
He's tried it twice when he was president before.
Good Lord. I'm going to get to finish the sentence here. Number two, everyone on the right and the left recognizes that Social Security has a challenge right now. We've got to do something to address it. I don't know exactly what that is going to be in the Trump administration, but I do know that at some point it's got to be addressed. Whether it's
how about pay back the money you took out of it and put into the general fund? How about that?
Well, Republicans and Democrats alike are guilty of that one.
Yes, indeed.
But that's not
Agreed.
the problem. The problem.
That is the problem.
The fundamental problem is that we have fewer and fewer people in the workforce compared to the number of people collecting Social Security. And as we have gone and we've expanded the number of people who are allowed to collect Social Security by going beyond retirees, we've made it more and more difficult. One of the things that we've got to do is we've got to address who should be getting Social Security. And quite frankly, to me, people who paid in are the people who should be getting Social Security. And I think the Trump administration feels that way.
Okay. That was a very unclear answer. I know you can't stay with us, but I hope you'll come back. Tell folks how to track you.
You can find me on X at Craig DeLuz. That's CraigDeluz. You can find me on Spotify at The Rundown, 2A News and Conservative Views, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Mr. DeLuz, thank you.
You are quite welcome.
News, traffic, and sports. Then we're taking your phone calls on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Spirit Airlines, American Airlines, and JetBlue have suspended flights to Haiti after 2 planes were hit by gunfire on Monday. The FAA suspended all traffic to Port-au-Prince until at least November 18th. A man in Hammond, Louisiana was arrested after police seized over 100,000 fentanyl-laced pills and other drugs from his home, marking the largest fentanyl bust in Tangipahoa Parish history. Marvin Tom faces drug distribution charges. Toy company Mattel is facing backlash for a packaging error on the new Wicked movie dolls, which included a link to an adult site instead of the movie's website. The company apologized and is working to fix the issue. And SpaceX achieved a record-tying 23rd flight of its Falcon 9 booster on Monday, successfully landing it at Cape Canaveral after deploying a Korean communications satellite. Later, they launched another Falcon 9 with Starlink satellites. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams couldn't find their offense Monday night against Miami. They lost 23-15 at SoFi. No touchdowns for the Rams. All of their points came on field goals. The Rams dropped to 4-5. They're at New England on Sunday. Former USC quarterback Caleb Williams is having a rough time with the Chicago Bears, who have lost 3 in a row. Over the last 3 games, Williams has had 23 straight possessions without a touchdown. The Bears haven't scored a touchdown since October 27th at Washington. The NFL's 6 black head coaches have some work to do. After Week 10, they have a combined record of 28-30. 3 of the 6 black head coaches are under 500. New England's Gerard Mayo, Tampa Bay's Todd Bowles, and the Raiders' Antonio Pierce. The Clippers lost at Oklahoma City last night. OKC's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander dropped a career-high 45. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, LA, it's time to step up and be a climate change hero. Go Metro and help us shape a better future for all Angelinos. From enhancing our diverse communities to preserving our planet, Metro is dedicated to making a positive impact with every ride. Start your journey at metro.net.
Add confidence to every holiday adventure and get it done with a rugged and capable Chevy truck or SUV. Find your red tag. Get 0% APR financing for 36 months on select popular Chevy models when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Offer available on all 2025 Equinox and 2024 Silverado, Equinox EV, Blazer EV, and Silverado EV models. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 22.2%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take me retail delivery by 12/2/24.
Are you an entrepreneur looking to take your business to new heights? KBLA Talk 1580 is your partner in success. Every day, we celebrate and elevate black-owned businesses across our community. Our KBLA SMB Marketplace currently features The Cookie Dip, Badass Bakes, Hair Concoction, Higher Education Accreditation Consulting, LACC Radiology Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Did you know that streaming music, ebooks, audiobooks, movies, and more is available for free from the Los Angeles Public Library? With your library card, you can access the latest music and movies, audiobooks and ebooks, graphic novels, comic books, magazines, and more. If you don't have a library card and live in the city of Los Angeles, you can get a digital card online for free. Check it out at lapl.org/emedia. That's lapl.org/emedia.
KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
Yeah, a lively show today. We'll be talking about immigration, migration in this environment. When our next hour commences with Dr. Stephanie Canizales, who is an expert on that. Right now, though, opening up the phone lines, well, they're always open, but they're extra open right now because many times when we do Talking Point Tuesday and we hear from our Republican colleagues, particularly black Republicans, folks have questions or commentary. Going to Damani from Los Angeles. Good morning.
Hello?
Yeah, you're on the radio.
Yes, I wanted to make one point, and I think that you diagnosed it correctly when you said she lost, if she lost, was because of the racism, sexism. Because I couldn't understand how Democrats could win Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, etc. as governors, yet she didn't win as a president. But I have a solution that I'm proposing. I'm proposing that Joe Biden resigns. She would become the 47th president of the United States. She could then pardon Hunter Biden and pardon the veterans who are immigrants that this guy Holmes was talking about throwing out as soon as he got into office. So I would like for us to start a campaign to ask Joe Biden to resign, make Kamala the 47th president of the United States constitutionally, and at the same time, for a little petty reason, to stop their laughter and their joy that they got at winning their election.
I'm here for that, but I've heard people talking about Biden stepping down and appointing and making Kamala Harris the president. I don't agree with it, and here's why. First of all, she can't get anything done. She'd be a lame duck president. She'd be in for what, couple months tops. And so you're right. It would stop their joy. It would cause massive meltdowns. But she wouldn't really get to do anything. She would just be a symbol. You can't. She's a lame duck. Unless she went totally rogue, which I just don't see her doing, because go ahead.
Yeah, I think she could do that. I think she could do a lot of things. But I like the symbolism of it, and the reason I say that is because they have already concluded that a black woman could not be president, because they keep saying it, and I've heard them do skits about it, that they're never going to let a woman be president. And we can dispose of that in one quick movement.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you think it would open the door for a woman to be president, even though she'd only be president for 6 weeks, and she only would have the Senate. She would not have the House of Representatives, so she couldn't pass any real laws.
Right.
And anything she did by executive order, he would quickly overturn.
Right, but I think that we want that to happen, because Joe Biden did executive orders which were overturned. See, I think what we fail to realize is that we want people to do those kinds of things, because that sets precedent for when other people do executive orders. So what we would do, and I said I appreciate the analysis, because I think that's correct analysis, that she lost because of racism and sexism. But I think
if she lost,
if she lost,
it was because of racism and sexism. I do believe that.
I think that's what we need to do. Instead of feeling like we have no power, this is one thing that we can do, and I think anything we can do, we should do, because that would set us up for the future.
Morris Phillips agrees with you in the chat. He says we would still have the executive power, even if it was temporary. I myself would rather see Joe Biden go off. I don't think he will, but I wish he would. Sign an executive order on reparations. I know there's a petition online to make that happen. Through the organization Reparations United. Sign an executive order on reparations. Free Leonard Peltier. Free all political African-American political prisoners that are still in prison from the 70s and 60s. Pardon Assata Shakur. Go off. Make Black history right now. Make history right now. Do everything you can do as pardon everybody that is pardonable, that's in for anything remotely political, or whose Black people whose convictions have been questioned credibly. Pardon all of those people. Pardon Assata. Let her come home. Pass an executive order for all kinds of things on policing. Pass an executive order around voting rights. Make an executive order around reparations. Force Trump to show his face for the white supremacist authoritarian that he truly is, because he's going to have to overturn. And I think that would be a great way to go out. I don't think he has time to replace Sotomayor, but if he did, that's where I would put Kamala Harris, right in the Supreme Court. I almost did a too short cuss right there. Right in the Supreme Court, you people.
Yes, I love everything you're saying. Pardon everybody that she could pardon. I would like her to be able to do it. I'd like for her to put her stamp on that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are saying it. I don't see it happening, but either way it goes, they need to use the next 70 days wisely. and get busy. You know what? Biden's talking about sending some $7 billion to Ukraine to sort of tide them over once Trump gets in. How about sending some money to Black America? How about sending some money to the cities with the unhoused? How about that? How about forgiving every student loan you possibly can? How about going out in a spree? You got immunity. I'm not saying you have to, shoot President-elect. I'm not saying you got to jail half of his cabinet. But what you can do is do the things that would be good, the things that we want, the things that would expose these folks for who they are. Move money to cover the deficit in Social Security. Well, he can't do that. He would need Congress for that. But at least try. I mean, do all of the things that show Trump for the tyrant that he is by him having to undo those executive orders.
Oh, I love that. You talking my language, and I appreciate what you're saying. But I would love to have
yes, pardon Mumia Abu Jamal. Yes, exactly, Morris. All that, those are the things I want to see.
I do too.
I appreciate your call. I think it was Simone Biles was like, I need you, Mr. Biden, I need you to put your shoulders back and shake some things up before you get out of office. I couldn't agree with her more. Let's go to Ira calling us from L.A. Good morning, Ira.
Yeah, thank you. Morning. I'm afraid Biden's not going to do anything for blacks because he's just the other side of what you people call white supremacists.
Who are
like
you
Trump.
people?
He's no different. The progressives, your Democrats.
You're black, right, Ira?
Females,
I think I've asked you that before. You're black, right?
Yes, I'm big, bald, and black, yes.
Okay. Big, bald, black Republican. Black. Got it. Okay, so you think...
No, I'm independent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, you're the most Republican-y independent I've ever met, and I've met a lot. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the fears that I have about this particular campaign and the damage it's done long-term to black women hurts me more than anything. The black women put so much into this campaign. They raised so much money, so much of their effort, and it's going to destroy black women because DEI is over.
Nothing is going to destroy us. Still I rise, still I rise, still I rise. Next point.
It sounds great as a book.
Next point.
It sounds wonderful as
Look,
church.
We have dealt with enslavement. We have dealt with sexism. Malcolm X is right. We have put up with more crap in this country and worldwide than anybody, and still we rise, and we will continue to rise. Did you know that black women as a group are the most educated group in the world? Black American women. Thank you very much. Whatever, still we rise. Education is not just about money. Education is about bringing forth greatness. It's about innovation. It's about intellect. You can't break us. I know you would love to see that, Ira, but you can't break us that easy.
It has killed the black community.
The black community is dead?
White normative gaze.
What black community are you checking the pulse on?
Los Angeles is falling apart.
Where do you live?
The difference between 1975 and today. I live in the San Fernando Valley. I don't live in South Los Angeles anymore. Mm-hmm. But what it used to be a teeming black metropolis. Look at it now. It's abandoned. It's deserted. The black community.
I live in South LA. It's not deserted. It's very lovely. Yes, we have a huge problem with unhoused persons. And they need resources, but it's not deserted. Okay. Thank you for your talking points, Ira. Want to land for me?
Women, the black women who want to be on your own, you're not going to win. You've got to establish a patriarchy. That's the only thing that survives and thrives.
Okay, got it. The solution is patriarchy. Woo! That gets the International 2024 Mansplain Award. A new award that I just made up for Ira. It's not too late to call me. Ira called 800-920-1580. You can do the same. Yes, indeed you can. KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Join the Black Hollywood Education and Resource Center for a great day in Black Hollywood. Friday, November 15th, 7 p.m. at the Regal LA Live Theaters, downtown Los Angeles. This is the opening night celebration of the 30th annual S.E. Manley African American Short Film Showcase, honoring Deborah Pratt, Lyndon Barrios, Janine Sherman Barrios, Art Sims, Dee Stevens, Gina Lemieux Davis, and Dr. Gloria Zervine. The weekend continues on Saturday, November 16th and November 17th with over 60 short films and industry panels on careers in Hollywood and directors on directing. Get your tickets today at bherc.org or call 323-957-4656. Again, 323-957-4656. See you there. That's bherc.org. Have you heard of the 50-30-20 rule? This can help you spend and save your money wisely. So, how does it work? Distribute your dollars into 3 buckets. 50% towards needs, 30% towards your wants, and 20% goes to savings. Use this tool to help your journey to financial success. Sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Ray Richardson, your sports connection here at KBLA Talk 1580. Join me and my co-host Neil Scarborough every Saturday night at 7 for Out of Bounds, the show that brings some flavor to the world of sports for 60 minutes. We take you beyond the scores and press conferences. We give you our point of view, the way black folks see what's going down. You can join the conversation and give us your analysis at 1-800-920-1580. Out of Bounds every Saturday night at 7 on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You like the style, though.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GIA.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Okay, so we've just learned that the patriarchy could be the answer. Yeah. Someone's in here talking about maybe we need some patriarchy for balance. Patriarchy is definitionally imbalanced. We could masculine energy. Yeah, I'm here for that. The balance of masculine and feminine energy, the yin and the yang, the dark and the light, the reciprocity, and all of that. Patriarchy, not so much. We've tried it for thousands of years, and so far, so bad. Dee from Long Beach, you have the mic. Dee, you there?
Morning, Dominique. How are you? I'm here.
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'll make it. I don't claim to be a representative, but what do you want to ask Black Republicans?
Oh, well, let's ask some of the questions that Jeanette wanted to ask Black Republicans. She wanted to know, would it be fine for President Joe Biden to sue Fox as Trump is trying to sue CBS?
I don't quite understand the question, but, I mean, it should be.
I think that the question is it okay for presidents or presidential candidates to go after news agencies because they say things about them that they don't like?
No.
She wanted, I think this is a weird question, but she wants to know if President Biden or Trump can walk immigrants to the border so that it won't cost the American people billions of dollars to deport 12 million people. That seems kind of strange, but I mean, because it's a long walk from, say, Chicago to the border, but
I think that's a bargaining point.
Meaning he's not really going to deport all those folks. You agree with Craig DeLuz. He's just saying that to get leverage.
I think he operates on leverage.
Yeah, but if you look at the appointments, I mean, he's appointed Stephen Miller, whose, signature is anti-immigrant, but he's also very anti-black and has invited white supremacists to his campus when he was a student. The guy went to Santa Monica College, claim to shame. I mean, Santa Monica High School. Anyway, okay, so you think that's a bargaining point. What about, and I asked DeLuz this, and this was something that Jeanette was also concerned about, the demise of Social Security, from which he gave me a word salad, which meant, no, we're not going to take away Social Security, but we need to change Social Security, i.e. privatize it or some other kind of scammy shenanigan.
Social Security is the third rail of American politics. Not going to happen because people will rise up.
Really? You think so? I think they're kind of shady and slick the way they do it, but you could be right. Certainly that is indicated in Project 2025. I'm asking the questions that Jeanette wanted. Should Biden be 25th Amendmented, or should he step down to make way for Kamala, and then Kamala kind of try to pull a Trump and never leave office?
That's silly.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's also problematic. My real question, well, I have lots of them, but one of my more urgent questions for Black Republicans is, given the clear embrace of white supremacist philosophy, of anti-blackness as a strategy and sort of a foundational philosophy, what makes you feel safe inside the MAGA America?
God, and the fact that Ronald Reagan began his campaign in Philadelphia, Mississippi, so this is nothing new.
Okay, so you're okay being in a Republican Party that hates black people. I mean, philosophically, maybe not one-on-one, but hates black people philosophically because you're used to it?
It takes one to know one, Dominique.
It takes a white supremacist to know a white supremacist?
Or any other violator.
I don't think that's right. I think that we can study and understand a philosophical viewpoint, and when we hear it espoused and when we see it enacted, we recognize it. It doesn't make us one. I'm not an authoritarian, but I recognize the signs and practices of authoritarianism. I'm not a Confederate, but I recognize a Confederate flag and philosophy when I see it. D?
I'm here.
Oh, I was thinking you might respond to that. Okay, another question for Black Republicans. When you hear on, what is it, day, whatever, he's not even president again yet. It's 70 days out, and he's already gearing up and putting out in the top tier agenda, ending birthright citizenship. Do you have no concerns that this will impact Black Americans?
I'm greatly concerned. I heard something about Project 25 that says that if your grandparent was not a citizen, you could be stripped of your citizenship. So I think that's very, very concerning.
Well, yeah, and I think that's just one framing. They can frame it however they want to. The white supremacists have never wanted us. The Confederates have never wanted us to be citizens. To Shayon's point earlier this morning, they wanted us only as property. So when we are no longer property and we're working on freedom and definitely autonomous, we're no longer welcome in the same way. So even within the Republican...
You want respect in this society, you must own something. We need 100 black businesses, 100 black new businesses within 100 days in every major city of this country.
Paul Lee wants to ask a black Republican, i.e., you put yourself out there for this, will Republicans raise the retirement age?
Democrats will too.
Well, but that's not who's in power right at the moment. And someone asked why I call him Drumpf. I call him Drumpf because Fred Drumpf immigrated to the United States from Germany, and his name was Fred Drumpf. He changed it to sound more American. It's kind of like when Geraldo Rivera, when he first started, he was known as Jerry Rivers. Some immigrants change their name to sound more American because they feel like they will be better accepted by this country, or whatever the reason is. The Trump family was originally the Drumpf family, and they hail from Germany. Thus, wow, how not surprising that he loves Hitler and admires Hitler and looks up to that sort of fascist model, wishes he had Hitler's generals. I am reminding us that his actual name is Drumpf and that his family are an immigrant family from Germany. And so that is why I call him Drumpf, and I will be calling him Drumpf. I used to like to call him He Who Shall Not Be Named, but it's going to be hard to go 4 years or however long it is before they shut me up without saying his name, so we're going with Drumpf.
A man whom I knew and loved was named Newman Cruz. He changed his name to Newman Cruz. And he is the embodiment of everything that is patriotic, noble, soulful, in a black Nassau man. So people make adjustments.
I mean, look.
And I'm proud and honored.
Sure, people make adjustments and you do you, but you also don't get to hide who you are. Just like the royal family of England, they are also German. But they're the House of Windsor, Mountbatten, blah, blah, blah. You call it rebranding. You could call it hiding. I mean, we also know that the English royal family has Nazi ties. It's been clearly documented. But we hide. We are Trump. We are Mountbatten. We are not Nazis. We are not Nazis. We are Americans. We are casino owners. We are grifters. We are reality television stars. We are dictators on day one. We are not Drumpfy. And from what I understand, a homeboy hates to be called Donald. So we're going with Donald Drumpf.
Isn't rebranding part and parcel of social mobility?
Yes, but when rebranding includes deception, it needs to be called out. Thank you for your call, Dee. We are talking with Dr. Stephanie Canizales when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Spirit Airlines, American Airlines, and JetBlue have suspended flights to Haiti after 2 planes were hit by gunfire on Monday. The FAA suspended all traffic to Port-au-Prince until at least November 18th. A man in Hammond, Louisiana was arrested after police seized over 100,000 fentanyl-laced pills and other drugs from his home, marking the largest fentanyl bust in Tangipahoa Parish history. Marvin Tom faces drug distribution charges. Toy company Mattel is facing backlash for a packaging error on the new Wicked movie dolls, which included a link to an adult site instead of the movie's